Hey everybody, how's it going? So this is Matt Diggity here, and I have Rick Lomas on too. So a couple days ago, actually maybe about 24 hours ago, people started getting reports of a bunch of manual review penalties in the form of unnatural links penalties. So I work with Rick, and we very commonly look at and help people with manual review issues, and we've seen quite a few issues come up. I think in the Facebook groups, I've seen at least 10 people report natural links penalties. Rick is currently looking at a handful, and I brought Rick on just to kind of share with us what he's finding about them, what are the commonalities, and what he sees are the patterns. Before we jump into this, we kind of have a bad connection right now. So in case like it gets choppy or Rick can't understand me, bear with us because I'm going to have to repeat myself, but we'll get through this together. All right, Rick, thanks a bunch. I'll hand it over to you. Like with this latest wave of natural links penalties, what are the things you see in common?
As ever, what I'm seeing is overdone anchor text in the links, and once again, I'm seeing all the kind of best whatever or top 10 whatever them kind of links just really too heavy in the link profile. Sites that seem unaffected tend to have mostly kind of brand anchor text, with the actual domain name or the raw URLs, that kind of anchor text, and not so many of money anchor texts. In the few I've looked at in the last 24 to 48 hours, what I am seeing is quite a lot of links that are old school comment spam. Now, a lot of this is Blogspot, which, as you know, will be a no-follow link. So I think Google this time are, if the intent to spam is there, and it's a load of no-follow links, they're actually looking at no-follow links and thinking, well, that guy's violating our guidelines, so he deserves a manual penalty. So I don't think no-follow links are as safe as what we'll say they are. So
That's super interesting. That's really interesting. So these guys that you're seeing with the Blogspot spam, they're not building them themselves. It looks like, right? It looks like negative SEO.
Possibly, but quite a lot of it is like really old. It's from like 2015. So I don't think it's anything people have necessarily done. Excuse me. I don't think it's anything people have done like really recently that might cause a problem. It might be like old comment spam from 2015. That all of a sudden Google are saying, well, he's violating our guidelines. Now, whether that is triggered by, like a bunch of new EBN links, I'm not entirely sure, but I suspect so. Negative SEO, I don't think that's particularly the case. I think it's old school SEO come to bite you in the ass, really, in a lot of cases.
And going back to anchor text ratios, when you're saying like you're seeing a lot of target anchor text, best key, best blank, best this, best that, like what kind of ratios are you talking about where that seems like to be too much? Like, are you seeing 40%, 30%? Like, what is a lot in the cases that you're seeing?
The sites that are penalised, I'm actually seeing more than kind of 50% money compared to the brand type anchors. But they're obviously quite severe cases. But I've never seen anything where you've got kind of 80% brand and 20% money with a manual penalty. It's normally the other way around, and by then it's too late. So it depends on the niche, but I think you probably can get away with probably up to 20% before you start seeing problems. And certainly anything over 50%, I think you're going to be looking at a manual penalty sooner or later.
And folks, when we're talking about 20% or more, we're talking about on a per URL basis. You can't send a billion branded anchors to your homepage and expect that to apply to an inner page. It's on a per page basis. Another thing I wanted, yeah. Do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is it's got to look natural. Uh, what I have seen is a lot of people where they do these like press release blasts, thinking that that's going to, fix their anchor text ratio, and I don't think it does. Do you know what I mean? All those kind of press release, so you got a dentist in London, and he's got an article on, the Kansas City News or something.
Yeah.
I think those links get ignored by Google, so that isn't going to fix your anchor text. It's really got to look natural to avoid these kind of penalties, really.
Right. Another thing, we were chatting before the call, and another thing you were pointing out is you're saying like there is a decent chunk of these guys that have manual penalties right now that are using PBNs. Do you think it was the PBNs that got them into trouble, or do you think it was the anchor text that they were using?
Right. I think what happens here, and this is purely because PBNs work, as we know. They work, and you will rank well with PBN links. But if people kind of get greedy with those, money-heavy anchor text, I think at that point, there must be something in the Google algorithm that will then trigger something or raise a flag for a manual reviewer to have a look at it. Now, I think at that point, the manual reviewer will come along, see a few PBN links, and I mean, I can spot PBN links a mile away. So, a Google reviewer is just gonna think, that guy's just using a bunch of PBN links, and so I think they're not problematic until you get caught, and you get caught by being greedy, trying to push all those money-heavy anchor texts. But I think that's kind of where they fit in. But I don't think they're necessarily problematic, because otherwise they would just disregard the link, and PBNs would have no power. So, I think it's more to do with the actual, as you say, the kind of the anchor text ratios being wrong, and then triggering a problem. And at that point, PBNs become a problem because they're kind of exposed, and your reviewer can see them. That's the case.
That's interesting. Yeah, when I was running Diggity Links, now operating as Rank Club, from time to time there would be a huge chunk of de-indexes, and that always coincided with a wave of manual reviews. And we would see notifications come up, and we would see, okay, we just lost 30 PBNs. Okay, what are these 30 PBNs pointing to? Okay, they're all pointing to the same guy. What was he doing? He's over-optimized. He's using scholarship link building. He's doing SAPE on tier 2. There's always something. So I feel like PBN standards at a certain point are to the point where they won't trigger a penalty themselves, but if you get caught in a manual review by doing something else that's silly and you got PBNs pointing to you, you're not going to pass that manual review. I see the exact same thing. How about like the interesting thing last time we did one of these, Rick, is like, especially I think it was in late 2017, is we saw a whole bunch of manual reviews that were targeting supposedly white hat stuff, like the scholarship link building. Do you see any of that going on right now?
Yeah, I must admit, the ones I've looked at in the last 48 hours, they have had scholarship links. So I think that is probably still a problem. Almost definitely, actually. I have seen scholarship links, yeah. Other white hat, probably trying to avoid that old school technique of like having one link to your money site and then one link to Wikipedia. I think that just looks really obvious. That's 2014 SEO.
Yeah.
But kind of having articles that are actually worth reading, and not there just for the link. Poor English. That kind of not exactly spun, but things that just ramble on about nothing. I'm seeing that quite a bit as well in guest posts. So poor quality guest posts. I can always tell if some niches are quite interesting, and like you start thinking, look, is this link any good? And you actually, if I find myself actually reading the blog, I think that's quite interesting. Well, that's got some value for me. If it's just rambling on about, people buy microwave ovens because they like to heat food before they eat it. That kind of just nonsense. So definitely improve the quality of your articles as well if you do have your own PBNs, and don't mix it up with all those kind of like heavy duty niches.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Makes
so
sense.
be careful.
Makes complete sense. Anything else to add before we wrap it up?
Not just at the moment, but I probably will have more to say about things in the next, well, after the weekend, because I've quite a few jobs to do over the weekend, and I think I'll probably know more then. But I would say that overall comment spam isn't worth it, and just try and keep everything looking as natural as possible, because if things look unnatural, it looks like you're spamming and violating Google guidelines, and they're just getting better. They're getting better and better at spotting all these kind of like PBNs and sponsorship links and scholarship links and that kind of thing. So just be careful. Yeah.
Awesome. Good advice. And if anyone has a penalty, just go ahead and reach out to ricklomas@gmail.com. He can help you fix it up. He's great to work with, 100% success rate. He's helped me out before too. So again, thanks a bunch for your contribution, Rick. That's very nice of you. I like your unicorn drawing on the back. I wonder if...
My daughter did that.
It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, take care. We'll talk soon, brother.
Okay, ciao.
Bye-bye.